Okay, so I've been having some really crazy OBE-Vr-lucid dreams lately. I had 4 of them like yesterday, but the second one I can't remember. So I remember the first one, the third one, the fourth one, but I know I had another good one. So that would have been number 2, but I can't remember that one. But this morning, yeah, I slept like shit this morning because I reacted to peanut dust. So then I had insomnia all night, but I still slept. And but yeah, I may have to stop buying bird food because it always has some bullshit in it that I'm allergic to. There's always all this cross contamination, peanuts, corn, and I'm allergic to fucking both. I'm allergic to fucking everything. Okay, so anyway, I may have to stop buying it and just put like fucking almond bread out there because I'm pretty sure they would eat almond bread. Just the only time I didn't have my mask on and I went to get the bird, the bird seed, and I tried to hold my breath and everything, but I still fucking breathed it in somehow. Like, never fucking amazes me. Okay, so anyway, but this morning, I mean, like I had insomnia all night, but I got this one funny ass, yeah, and it too, like when I'm more stressed out and don't sleep worth a shit, it seems like the aliens do more weird, perverted things. Too, like when I'm having a bad night or whatever. So this morning I was like taking a bath. This is all under OBE-Vr-lucid dream. I was taking a bath, and but it was a big bathtub, and it's like my sister was walking around, and like 3 other friends were like walking around, and I'm sitting there like trying to take a bath, and and it's like I had no privacy. And then this light-skinned black man, like got out of another shower, because I think he took a shower. He didn't take a bath, but I was taking a bath. I was sitting there in a bathtub, and he took a shower, and so he was like trying to come and like look at my body and everything, and then he took his towel off, and I was trying to like look at his body, and it was so funny, like I didn't see anything, because he had all this weird hair, like this big, thick. It was just weird. It didn't look natural. The aliens do weird things like that, but it was like he had so much hair, like big long hair. It was like covering his thing all up. But the aliens, they're hilarious. And then I was trying to get my back. I was trying to find my little back cleaner or whatever, and I was trying to get it wet and everything, and then when I was trying to like use it on my back, it was like all hard and shit, and I'm like, because in real life it's real soft, my little back cleaner or whatever, my little sponge, and so anyway, it was just kind of funny, and that's the only one I can remember this morning because I slept like shit. But yeah, there was this light-skinned black man trying to like look at my stuff, and I'm like, I'm trying to take a bath here. And then, like, he was, like, standing up, and I was trying to look at his stuff. And like I say, I didn't see anything because he had all this hair. This hair was, like, covering it up or whatever. It's so weird. And there was, I forgot, there was, there was some other stuff, too. Like, I was having conversations, like with the people that was also, like, had just got out of the bathtub and stuff. And it was just so weird. But the aliens do that all the time, like try to embarrass you and shit. Like when you're trying to take a bath. Or whatever. And, but I was trying to, I mean, I know there was this mentality with me and the black dude. But I forgot the conversation. I mean, I know we said some things, but I can't remember the mentality that we were talking about and stuff. Because we did say some things to each other, and I can't remember what it was all about. But anyway, it was just kind of funny. It's like the aliens are always trying to embarrass you and stuff. But anyway, this other one was a couple weeks ago. This was just a quick, like, little lucid dream that I haven't talked about yet. and that was the same time I had the fair one, which was like so cool. This one was before the fair lucid dream. But anyway, so I was like riding my motorcycle, and this teeny tiny little infant baby was like, it was like that little kid that we used to babysit a long time ago. It was almost like as if it was supposed to be Ashley, because we babysat her all the way up to like 5 years old. But she was just, I don't know, she's probably 3, 4, 5 months old. And she was like clinging onto my back. And I was taking her for a ride on my motorcycle. And I kept thinking she was going to like fall off and stuff. And I just told her to keep holding on, keep holding on. But that was kind of funny. And there were some other parts too, but I can't remember because this was a long time ago. I waited too long to talk about it. But that fair one, like I was walking around a fair like with my sister and my mom. And it was like so cool. Like I can't remember if I bought them or if they were given to me, but I had this big old bag of lollipops, and they were the most fancy, beautiful lollipops I've ever seen. And most of all these lollipops, I was looking down in this big old grab bag type of thing. And these lollipops, they were pretty big. They were, they were pretty big and round, like 3 inches, 3 or more inches in circumference. But they had all these beautiful colors inside, like all these multicolors, and they were lollipops. But the aliens, I don't know, man, they have the ability to do that, make the most awesome thing like you've never seen in this dimension. Like you would never see a sucker like that in this dimension. But in, their dimension, when they create things for you, it's the best ever. And anyway, it was kind of funny too. Like they were just these real expensive, like lollipops. And there's little baggies. On most of them, they had little baggies, like little clear see-through baggies attached to the stick part. And it had little toys in there, like a little stuffed turtle or stuffed horse. I don't know what it was made out of. It could have been kind of plasticish or whatever. But it had like little toys stuck in the little baggies. Like some of them didn't have them attached, but most of them, when I would pick up the lollipop, most of them had like a little, little prize attached. Kind of like when you buy what's that called? Cracker Jacks, and there's a little toy in there. But yeah, that was kind of funny. I waited too long to talk about that experience, so there's a lot of parts I've already forgotten. But that one thing I was going to talk about, that like when I did that other video, I forgot to talk about it. But it was when I was about to fall back to sleep, but I was still somewhat awake. But they could still kind of get in, and they showed me this. Well, they presented the staircase. It could have been Joel. I don't know, but so there was this staircase, and so I started walking down the staircase, and then like boom, and then they kind of like, or he or whatever, kind of like, energetically like pokes you somewhere. But I can't remember where he poked me this time. He did that back in England when I was in England, and when I woke up, I don't know why it took me so long to realize, like, oh yeah, that was them doing that. Because they've done that many times before. Like they'll make you like, they'll still you, so to speak. They'll show the staircase, and then you start walking down the staircase, or you start walking up the stairs, and then like boom, they like energetically like scare you or poke you or whatever. Energetically jab you. But yeah, that was that other experience I was going to talk about. Also had a price cutter lucid where I was walking around back to a package burger. Yeah, and then there's other awesome lucid dreaming. These kind of lucid dreams, they're so lucid dreamy that they totally feel like another freaking dimension. And most of these lucid dreams that I have like this, they're always like almost dark time. Like it's always almost dark time outside. Either it's early morning or in the evening. And it's like, oh my God, they feel so awesome and so lucid dreamy. It just feels like so much like you're in another dimension. It feels awesome. And so basically, well, this other one, this was quite a while ago, a couple weeks ago or whatever. And I was, it's like I was walking from the grocery store, like Price Cutter, and I was walking to work. And I had a package of a pound of beef in my left hand. And I was walking back to work, and it's like I didn't know where to store it. So all of a sudden, there was this small, standalone, tiny Taco Bell, just in the middle of nowhere. So I went into the Taco Bell, and I asked them if I could store that pound of burger. And they acted like they didn't have any room. So then I walked back out of the little Taco Bell, with the burger in my hand, because, I was afraid that it was going to melt and stuff, and I needed to get it into some refrigeration. But anyway, it lasted a lot longer than that. It lasted, I don't know, 2-3 hours. But it was just this long, drawn-out scenario where I was like, like walking around nighttime outside the grocery store, and then I went to the grocery store, and I walked too. A lot of times I was walking around the parking lot too, and that lucid dream probably lasted 2 or 3 hours. But okay, so this other experience I had. Okay. But anyway, I was going. It's like I was going on my break, because I did used to work nights, and at nighttime I would go out on my break, and then I'd have to go back to work. So that's what the aliens was trying to copy off of. Oh, but then I had this other funny lucid dream, and this was just like about a week ago maybe, where it was like it's like I was living at my parents' house, and all of a sudden, Barber Lamb and her clan of people, that she went, on the crop circle tour with, this clan of people. And it's like they were coming by to visit for whatever reason. And I was living at home, and I didn't go on the crop circle, tours during that time, because I had already went previously, because this was like, it was under the scenario, it was like present time, and I had already done that, 2 years in a row a long time ago. So I had no reason to go again. But for whatever reason, they stopped by and visited us. And like I say, this lucid dream lasted several hours. And I was just kind of like perturbed, because I don't like people in my space, and so it was like my mom, dad, and then like 5 other people plus Barber Lamb. And I was just kind of sitting around, and I sensed that they were being like kind of rude to me anyway, and I didn't really want them in my space, like I kept thinking like, when are they gonna leave, like when are they gonna leave, and but yeah, I felt like they were all kind of being rude to me. Standing out there several. Okay, so anyway, but like I said, this lasted a long time, and this living room was nothing like the living room in real life. It was so different under the scenario. The whole house was so different. Except when I went outside. Okay, so finally they like decided to leave after several hours, and then I went outside, and no, that part was very accurate. It looked just like the driveway in real life. And Barber Lamb was standing over there, and my grandma was standing there. Now, she never was inside the house, but my grandma was standing over there. And like, it was like my brother, like my sister, and my stepdad, and my mom, because they were about to tell them goodbye. And it's so funny, instead of a van this time, they went on the crop circle tour with this big old, long, awkward looking truck. And the truck was facing left. The front of the truck was facing left. And it was this big old, long, really weird looking truck. And that's what they went on the crop circle with, and that's where my grandma was standing over there to the right of the truck, over there by the garage. She was just standing there. So that was like so cool that she was in the scenario. But she never was inside the house. And many times in real life, she'd be standing outside because we'd be, talking to us before she went home, or before, my sister took her home, or before my uncle took her home, or whatever, a long time ago, But yeah, so, and at one point, See, anyway, at one point, when I was in the house, I was going to, I guess I was getting ready to prepare them some drinks, and I noticed, when I was opening the cabinets, it was all like, the paint was chipping off and shit. Well, a long time ago, the house was real shitty, and we had to do renovations and stuff, but all the paint was coming off and stuff, but then, eventually I wanted to go outside, again to play Frisbee. And so me and my sister went outside to play Frisbee, and that part was very accurate. It looked just like, real life. The driveway, the gravel driveway. And it was so funny. Okay, yeah, and this is the part I almost forgot because I waited too long to talk about it. But Yeah, the first or second time I went outside, I was like me and my sister were about to play frisbee, and this was before they all came back outside to leave or whatever, and yeah, I took so I took the frisbee, and every time I threw it to my sister, it kept coming back to me like a boomerang, like it kept coming back and coming back and coming back. And that was a normal size, normal looking frisbee, so I kept throwing it at her, and it kept coming back to me, coming back to me, coming back to me. And the aliens copied that because we did used to do that. If you throw it up high, it'll sort of like come back to you or whatever. But then the second time around, it's like we had this like it was like this big plastic thing, but it was like half a box or so. It just looked like or like half a plastic little small plastic crate. It was like half of a plastic little crate that we were like, that was supposed to be a frisbee, and we were trying to like throw that back and forth, and it was very, very awkward because it was nothing like a frisbee at all. Yeah, the aliens do weird stuff like that sometimes. It was almost like a plastic crate. It was like a 7-inch by 7-inch or 7-inch by 14-inch plastic crate, but it was cut in half. And that was supposed to be a frisbee, and the second time around we were throwing that back and forth, and it was very awkward because it didn't fly very well. Well, yeah, duh, because it wasn't a real frisbee. But the first time around it was a real frisbee, and the aliens copied that because I do actually have some frisbees over there that's been over there for 50 years or whatever. But yeah, so that was kind of weird and funny. But that was the part I didn't even write down, and I almost forgot about it because I waited too long to talk about these experiences. But I did have an awesome experience 2 days ago. And then I had 4 yesterday, but I forgot about the second one because it was just memory overload or whatever. But yeah, so on April 9th, a couple of days ago, I was having this like love affair in my house with this person, and we were just like doing normal things, walking around, having conversations forever and ever and ever. And this whole experience lasted a long, long, long time too. And in this scenario, it was like really different. My house was like nothing like, like I don't know, it was just very, very different. It was a lot bigger. The kitchen was bigger. The living room was bigger. So it was really different under the scenario. And, but I was having this love affair, and this person was familiar to me, but now I can't even think of who the person really was. But in the scenario, it was a very familiar person. And then, all of a sudden, I went into this barber shop. And this barber shop was like huge. It was very, very long with lots of stalls. And there was also lots of cosmetic stalls where you could sit there, where women could sit there with vanity lights and put on their makeup. And at one point I was wanting to pluck my hair, so I kept going into this little makeup stall. And I kept like looking up to the top of the stall, and I kept trying to find the tiny little buttons that would turn on the vanity lights. And it was real awkward trying to find the tiny little button to turn on the vanity lights. It was so weird. And then all of a sudden, I started eating at this little restaurant because it also was part restaurant and part barbershop. So then all of a sudden, we were sitting there eating at a table, and I was eating like heaping amounts of like India food. The person on my left, he was a guy, and he was familiar to me. And he was eating like heaping amounts of Mexican food. The female that was straight across from me, I was like looking at to see what she was eating, and it looked like freaking worms. It looked like big old huge flat tapeworms, except they were like kind of off yellow color, off white or off yellow or whatever, beige. And but I guess they were supposed to be noodles, but they look gross. They look like tapeworms or something, except a little thinner. And, but the Indian food, yeah, it was like really, really good. And, okay, but I think they were all these other 4. Okay, yeah, but anyway, that scenario lasted a long, long time. And then at one point, I remember, and we actually got intimate too in the scenario. We got intimate and everything. And there was one part where I remember we were kind of fighting, and then I was like making up with the person and everything. And it was just fun. It was like a fucking blast, man. And like I say, it lasted a long, long, long time too. But I'm just trying to talk about them in 5 minutes because I don't have much time. But Okay, suppose all these. Okay, so all these other 4 experiences, like I had yesterday, they were so weird. Okay, so, and like I say, because the first one was okay. I remember the first one, the third one, and the fourth one, and I forgot the second one. But I know I had another one. I could be wrong, maybe, because I broke the sleep cycle, and that other one, it could have popped back in the same scenario. You know, because a lot of times I'm not finished yet, or they're not finished with the lucid dream, so they'll still pop me back in the scenario. So maybe I didn't have 4 experiences. Maybe I thought I had 4 because I broke the sleep cycle one time, and then they popped me back in there, and I continued that lucid dream. But I don't know. I still think I had another one, but I can't remember it. So the first one, I'm sure I forgot a lot about the first one, but anyway, it was just kind of funny. I could talk about it real quick. It was no big deal. It wasn't fun like the other ones. But basically, I was like floating down like whitewaters on a raft. And then all of a sudden, there's this motorcycle guy. He was riding his motorcycle down the waters. And then all of a sudden, he said he wanted to get a different motorcycle, so he like threw it over there to the side of the whitewaters. And so finally, I got off my raft and I swam over there. And this was like a really nice bullet crotch rocket bike, the motorcycle. And so I reached over there and I revved, because he didn't shut off the engine. And I revved up, the like whatever you call it, I forgot what it's called. I forgot what it was, what it's called. But yeah, so I revved up the accelerator thing. I revved it up. And, but yeah, I'm sure it was longer than that, but I can't remember the other parts. But anyway, that one was kind of weird. And then the more fun ones came later. But that one was very bizarre and very strange. What the hell is it called? I haven't had my motorcycle in a while. Not the ignition, where you control the speed and shit. What the hell is that called? I can't think of what it's called. But yeah, that one was like freaking weird. And but like I say, it lasted a lot longer, and I'm sure I forgot a bunch about it because that was the first one. So because if you're gonna have like back-to-back lucid dreams, you're gonna remember like the last 2, and then the first 2, you're gonna forget more. You know what I mean? But anyway, so the second one I forgot, and then the third one. Okay, all these other 4 lights still. Okay, yeah. So Jack's house. Well, actually, the third one was I was at my Uncle Jack's house, and this isn't the first time the aliens put him in my scenarios. But I was at my Uncle Jack's house, and I hadn't even been there in 40 years, or maybe 38 years, something like that. And he lives over there kind of far away on the north part of town, or not north part of town, like west part of town, outside city limits. But I went to Jack's house, and like my mom was there, I think my mom, my brother, and Tony, my cousin was there. And there was a couple other people that were staying there. I wasn't really sure who they were. My female cousins were not there. And but in real life, Jack is dead. But in the scenario, he was very much alive. And it's like we were going over there to spend the night for a few. And I took my turtle reptilia with me. It's like we were going over there to spend the night for a couple days, while my dad fixed something. I don't know, that wasn't clear. I'm not sure what they were going to try to fix or whatever. But when I was walking down the big wide hallway, about to try to find the room that I was going to stay in with little reptilia, my turtle, I noticed the carpet was really disgusting and real dirty and wet and everything. And Tony, my cousin, he had the door closed, and he was in there doing something, fixing something. But the alien never told me exactly what he was doing in there, but that's what the deal was. We were there. I was there to to wait around until because my uncle and my dad and then my cousin, they wanted to fix something, but I'm not sure quite what they were doing exactly. But he had the door closed, and apparently it almost seemed like there was a bunch of water like coming out, under the door, and that's what was getting all, that's what was getting all the hallway like all soggy and shit. And yeah, so that was kind of weird, but yeah. And then at one point, it's like I went back to the room that I was staying in, and there was like 3 rooms over there to the left side, like bam, 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 and then over there to the right side, that's where Tony, the cousin, was staying, but he had the doors closed. And then at one point, like I say, I was trying to like go to bed, and I had a hard time finding my room because I went into one room and I noticed the other guy was sleeping in that room, and I'm like, whoops, sorry, wrong room, but I'm not quite sure who he was. And then I walked a little farther, and then I finally found my room that I was staying in, and that's where I finally picked up Reptilia and put her in the proper room, because I accidentally had put her in the wrong room at first. That was kind of funny, but it was a fun lucid dream. But and it lasted a long time. Okay, Aquarium lasted, but here is the cool ass part. And like I say, it lasted a pretty long time. And here's the cool ass part. Then, okay, at one point in the scenario, I went like to the back door. I had opened the door, and it was nighttime again, or it was almost nighttime. It was twilight or whatever. But I felt like it was more, I'm not sure really. I don't know if it was more like evening time or the morning time. I think evening time. And it was like so vivid and so virtual reality. It was basically, in real life, he didn't really live like that. In real life, his backyard was pretty big, but there were still houses and stuff around. In this scenario, his house, his backyard, he didn't even really have a backyard. It was just huge. It was just nothing. It was just like all, backyard, nothing. There was no houses around or anything. Except there was just one business right behind him, like way, way, way behind him, and that's what I was observing. There was one business, and it was like a limestone plant where they were like hauling around lime or something, like rocks and shit. It was like a quarry, and there was these men that was like driving around these like what do you call it? Not shovels. I forgot what you call it, but not buckets. I can't think of what it's called, but they were driving around these little motorized trucks. Well, they weren't trucks. What's that called? But anyway, yeah, but it was like so cool, and I was just observing that, and I was like, wow, the scenario. I was like, wow, I don't remember, that quarry being there, that business being there. What's it called? Where you put rocks and shit in? But I don't know what you call it, because it's not that. It's not that. It was just a tiny little. It was tiny little like ATVs or something, with with a little compartment in the back, just like a little truck where you can carry rocks and shit in. But I don't know what you would call it. It's got to be called something. But what's that called where you shit, God, I don't even know what it's called. Where you put rocks in it and you lift it up and you roll it around. What the fuck is that called? But anyway, so yeah, it was like so weird. It was like they were driving around these little ATVs with those big old lime rocks in the back. These little ATVs, the little storage area in the back. It was just kind of like a bed truck or whatever. Bed of a truck or whatever, but the walls were just like 6 inches high all the way around, and they were only about 3.5 feet wide, 3.5 feet long. Those little, they gotta be called something, little ATVs like that. But anyway, it was so cool. It was so weird. So that part was like really, really cool. Okay, but then this last, playing in the backyard, I was looking. But that was like so cool that I took a little Reptilia with me, like she's my little cat or something. But okay, so this other, let's see, all these other 4, okay. So the last one, it was so weird. Okay, so like, it was like in real life, okay. In the scenario, it was like they placed me in real life, like over there on Sunshine Street, right there where AutoZone is. AutoZone, and that little hamburger joint. What was that other place? Let's see. Oh yeah, and the gas station. I think it's called Come and Go. But in the scenario, it's like they placed me there under the scenario. Except in the scenario, all of those places were gone, and I was walking around, and I'm like, but not only that whole area had turned black, like black, it turned into a black part of town, and it was so weird. So I was like walking along, and I'm like, where the heck is all these stores at? And then a black woman stopped me and said that they're about to build a strip mall over there. And that's why they took all those buildings out. And so then I looked way over there, and there was still, there was parts of a strip mall. I mean, it was still basically it looked all deserted and everything. Because all of those places were gone. The gas station or whatever, and AutoZone, and the burger joint, all those places were gone. And then I noticed when I looked up there where she told me, she said, oh, they're going to build a strip mall. It was partially being built. So, and this scenario lasted a long time too. So in the meantime, I was walking along, like part of the strip mall, and I had dropped all of my gold rings. And so I leaned down to pick up my gold rings, and this other, it was a light-skinned black man. He reached down and tried to steal some of my rings, and I was like, come on, man, these are my rings, And finally, he gave them back to me. And then there's another part of the scenario where I walked behind me, and for whatever reason, these pamphlets fell off this little pamphlet shelf or whatever, and I was like picking up the pamphlets and putting it back on the shelf. And okay, let me see. Turn to black. But yeah, and so then another part of the scenario, I went into this other little place of the strip mall, and basically it was a bar. I went in there, and it was like all black people. I mean, like all black people. And I was just like, wow, like this whole area had really changed. And so it was a really cool scenario. But yeah, the black guy, he was gonna steal my rings and stuff, but then I was just kind of like, and I was sitting there counting them, because the aliens copied that from my brain, because sometimes I'm lazy and I don't have time to put on my jewelry, so I throw all my jewelry and my rings into my bag, and then I get to work and I have to take them all out, put them on my fingers and stuff. So, and I've taken them, all my rings, and putting them on the carpet before I counted them, before I throw them in the bag, just to see how many rings I had in my bag, so then I don't lose any of them. So the aliens copied that and kind of put that in the scenario, but the black guy wanted to steal all my rings, and he's like, okay, I'll give them back to you. So he gave me back my gold rings. And, but yeah, it was just wild. I mean, all these lucid dreams were just freaking wild. And, and there again, it was like, all these scenarios was like twilight. It was almost like dark outside, but not quite dark. And, but yeah, they were really fun, man. But I know I had another one. I'm just forgetting. But yeah, what are those things called? See, I don't know, because like a lot of these stuff they put in your scenario, I mean, you might think they exist in real life because they make you think in the scenario that they really do exist. But then when you get back to this dimension, so to speak, you realize they really don't exist. Well, actually, but those do. I know what he was copying from. Yeah, I think he was copying from when I did that video about that meth place, about that meth. I went on Google Earth, and I found a random place in Alaska, and it was a meth place, and they had those little vehicles, those ATV vehicles. So yeah, except in that video, those little ATV things, there was like a tarp. There were tarps on them. In this scenario, there weren't tarps on them. But I don't know what you call them, but there weren't tarps on them in this scenario. It's like the men, they were just literally driving around these rocks that they dug up from the quarry. Like these lime rocks. But it was like so cool, man. All these scenarios were so cool. Well, let's see, what else could I talk about? Oh, well, see, I don't know if I have enough time. Maybe I do. Okay, let's see. I was gonna do this other scenario about, I mean this other video about Bohemian Grove, because I don't know if I noticed it before. Maybe I did, and I just didn't think about doing a video or something. But you can clearly see this little human-looking reptilian face in the I don't know what you call it, smoke or whatever. It was not really smoke. In this video, you can clearly see this reptilian face and this little dinosaur. Dinosaurs were supposed to be reptiles. I didn't know they were supposed to be reptiles. Well, that makes sense. And first of all, they've never existed in this dimension. So that even makes it more likely that they've never existed in this dimension. They're in the other dimension, where the reptilian aliens are. The dinosaurs are. But where's that video? Bohemian Grove. I don't even know if I have enough time. Let's see. Okay. But I mean, it's clear as a whistle. Totally clear as a whistle, and I'm going to try to find it. Okay, let's see here. It's an old video. I mean, old camera footage. So that's why you can see clearly the faces. Or maybe that's not why, but maybe that's part of the reason. Man, talk about creepy. Okay, hold on. Shit, I don't know if this is the right one. I don't think this is the right video. Crap, this isn't the right video. Okay, let's see here. Okay, inside. But yeah, it's clear as a whistle. I just gotta find the video. Let's see here if I can find it. Somebody said there used to be a video that was like, had like 1 million hits, but they took it down. Because this particular video only has like, let's see here. I think 20,000 or something like that. Crap, this isn't the right one, damn it. Well, I don't know where it is. I wonder if they're really burning somebody. Who knows? Alex Jones says they are. Shit, this isn't it. Damn it. Let me see if I can find it in the history. Okay, let's see here. Okay, let's see. This video is gonna run out probably. Okay, hold on. Inside. Alex Jones is talking. It's that one. Okay, inside Bohemian Grove, Alex Jones. Let me see if I can. Maybe they took it down. That should still be on here, I think. Is that it? No, I don't know. That might be it. Let's see. Why can I not find it all of a sudden? Okay, for some reason I'm gonna have to look for it. Okay. So that'll be in the second video.